Welcome to Life Calcs. Life Calcs, this is Life Calcs number 2. Number 2 is a instructional video so that you can utilize Life Calcs calculator. Again, it's for professionals, CPAs, CFPs, any life insurance agents that want to discover and to do calculations for the needs of their clients for life insurance. Life Calcs is a subscriber base. You can come in here and do a 30-day free trial, and then at the end of 30 days it's a 1-year annual subscription going forward. Life Calcs has a number of tools over here for you to utilize these tools so that you can have added value to your clients and bring a lot of advisory capabilities and tools to the clientele. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a login right now and get you started on Life Calcs. And in that login process, we're going to go to, after the login process, we're going to go to a quick calc. And in that quick calc, as you can see, this is a calculator that you're able to establish the needs of the client. On here, this is going to be client alpha number 2, which is exactly the same client alpha on the previous video, but number 2 is just to designate the 2 different videos. In using the calculator, again, I'm going to point to the tools that are over here and available to you. You have PDFs that are available to you for financials, for statements that you can get for client review, as well as a print document that you can just take this with you in a printed form to the clients. You also have a link here to Social Security where you can advise them to go to Social Security and be able to log on and get their own accounts set up. You can also do mortgage calculators. We have an advanced mortgage calculator and a simple mortgage calculator if you're doing advices about mortgages. I like to point people, if they don't have a will, I like to point them at LegalZoom because a will is a very important tool for them to use. There's also budget analysis, PDF, and in Excel. And there's also debt management in PDF and in Excel also available to them. Corporate prognosis charts and partnership and sole proprietor charts are very, very good for you to take a look at and see if you can use those tools in your advisory role to the clientele. And then lastly, if for some reason you don't have your term rates or something like that, these are sites where you can go get a quick calculation for term rates. If the client says, well, how much is that going to cost me? And these are sites that are set up dominantly so that you don't have to put in anything other than brief information, not a whole lot of client information. They're kind of speedy sites. Again, you're prepared now to do the calculation. I make the statement that you can walk into a client's office and in 15 minutes be within 90 to 95% accuracy of them, of their needs and the needs of their family. This particular family, he's 38, he has a wife who's 38, and they have 3 children. The youngest is age 12. He wants to keep him in a $60,000 world, and if that's where he wants, then that's the intention. And in doing so, then you're able to go over here and say, well, if you have a $60,000 need and want to keep him there, then we want to offset that with Social Security. You need to understand Social Security. Social Security is kind of an animal of its own. As you know that the survivor benefits are a very good planning tool. The retirement benefits are going to vary going down the road, but the 2 trusts that are set up for retirement and the trust that's set up for survivor are completely 2 different ones. And you can, in my experience, you can use these and pretty much trust that these numbers are going to be there in the future for them. If after looking at the chart or going over to Social Security or getting a current statement that they've received from Social Security, we determined that this particular client was going to have $32,000 available to them, to his survivors in the event of his death. Offsetting the $60,000 that we need with the $32,000 means that we need to make up $28,000 in income. The interest rates that you can assume are interest rates that are maybe available in a little bit short-term annuities. You know, you're talking short-term dollars that can for survivor money, widow and survivor children. You want to make sure that you get calculations that are realistic in today's date. today's world. 3% is about as good as we can presently find out there in that time of money, using very low risk, or is very low risk bonds and those types of vehicles. And at 3%, then we're able to earn that 3%, we're able to earn $28,000, and we have to have $933,000, $933,333 setting someplace, earning 3% to give us $28,000. It's imperative that the intent is to keep the $933,000 intact and only use the interest rate. The inflation fighter here is that if interest rates go up, we're able to earn more money on our money and keep inflation at bay. If we deteriorate that principle, that's not our intent, because when we hit the blackout period, as you'll see, we want that $933,000 still sitting there intact. Also, inflation, I'm going to address inflation here for just a second. I believe that using inflation and inflating numbers at this point in time, we're doing this in the event of his death today. Not in the future, but today. And so the reality is that the client needs to know what they can count on. And as long as we keep this money intact, earning interest rate, then it can fight its own inflation. Also, the additional dialogue that I'm doing here when you're doing the calculator, these question buttons are tutorial information on each one of these, on each of these squares, and it will again give you a little tutorial as you go as to what the intent is, and of each one of these to accomplish each one of the blanks and the goals and the explanation. So that you have an additional tutorial that's available to you when you're actually in the site, and you can hide those or you can use them as you want to. So we have a $933,000 base that we need to stash some money, and then we have additional needs. And at this point in time, you can populate these by putting down itemizations, or not. You can just put in the $10,000 either by populating this, or you can just put it right in the blank. You could any way that you want to do it, if you're in a hurry or if you don't really want to itemize. But the itemization comes in about the time you say, hey, what were those numbers that we put in there at some point in time? And so I really like to make sure that at some point in time you itemize as much input as possible. And in this guy's case, he has a first mortgage on the home. A first mortgage on the home for $250,000. And he actually has a second on the home, and you identify that second that he took out for some remodeling or something for another $40,000. And so he has a total need of $290,000, of which you've itemized, and he goes, oh yeah, and then I have some other debt that he might want to put in there or not. This particular client says that with my 3 children, I want to give them a jump start into school, but I'm not going to pay for it all, and we just do jump start monies of $10,000 per child. And he can, again, this is just a base that we're setting so the client can dialogue about what he wants to do and how he wants to do that at some point in time. And accomplishing college costs. Stanford is $65,000 a year, and junior college is a lot less than that, and they can put in their college costs if they wish to, however they wish to help fund or fund fully. So that means that with the additional needs, we have an additional $330,000 that we need to add on to the $933,000. We also need to address and advise about the blackout period. We have put a calculator in here. It's just small, very simple calculator that basically says how old is the spouse, the surviving spouse. His surviving spouse will be 38 this year. And because the blackout period is predicated upon the youngest child turning age 18, the youngest child being 12, means that we've got 17 years between the youngest child turning age 18 and when the spouse will qualify for Social Security again. So that blackout period is real. That's about the time the kids are going to college, they're having additional needs, and Social Security goes away. So we need to dialogue whether the spouse is going to go back into the workforce, how she's going to accomplish that. And again, we still keep this block of money intact in order to give her income, but we don't want it to erode if we can avoid that. And there are real needs during the blackout period, and that's why they call it the blackout period. So by calculating the blackout period and having that dialogue about the spouse possibly returning to the workforce or not, that means that we've talked about it, and if they want to fund it fully, it's $544,000. And if they want to fund it a portion of that, it's up to them, put in whatever they want to. So we have now a total need of capital required of $1,807,000. Life insurance policies. This particular client, what he has done is he has taken his group term at work and maxed it out to 2, 3, 4 times his income, depending on what that was. And this particular client has $350,000 that he has bought through work. He also felt that he was a little short even at that point in time, and he bought personal term. For another $650,000. And he had an old policy that his folks had on him that they gave to him years ago, which he refers to as a whole life policy. And the death benefit on that policy right now is $50,000. And itemizing all these give him a total life insurance gross amount of $1,050,000. He has a retirement fund right now that's grown to $85,000. But at his current age, he doesn't have any more than the $85,000 sitting there. He might have an IRA. He might have rolled over other monies and you have the opportunity to itemize those if you wish, or just put in the $85,000. Dialoguing with him in the event of death, the $85,000 does go by beneficiary, but there's sometimes some tax ramifications depending on whether it is a qualified plan or what type of plan it's in. He also has they also have stocks and bonds, and you can again analyze that. They've got stocks that add up to about $25,000, and so and again, that's ballparking it. And then they have a building lot that they feel they could be that it could be liquidated. That's today's value is about $50,000, and they can itemize any amounts of whatever they want to at this point in time. You can go back and recreate that. And so between the life insurance, the retirement plan, and other assets, they got $1.2 million. Working backwards, if we added $597,333 to their current life insurance policies and assets, that would get, and then we take the $108,000, the $1,807,000 that's total capital required, and work backwards. We're able then to keep this client by adding $597,000 and funding the blackout period and funding their debts and funding for all these things. We're able then to keep the client and his surviving spouse in a $60,000 world. This is the time when you start dialoguing with them. Can you add more to your group term insurance? Are there some other options that we should be taking a look at? Have we looked at everything? These are their numbers, 100% their numbers. And so you're able to, based upon their numbers, establish their family being able to stay in their world. This is what Life Calcs does. This is what it's intended to do, and this is very transparent and it's straightforward numbers. As I mentioned, when you hit save, you're able to then go over to this area, and this area gives you the clients, and you're able to recall this client back up. Client Alpha now is in the save mode, and you're able to open up Client Alpha. It opens up the calculator. It also gives you all the tools that you want on a back basis. It gives you the tools that you want to go to print all the information that you've put in, and also to do a full financial statement of the itemizations of all of the needs that you've put in for this client. This is a very great place to save that and recall the information at some time when you might need it, and for further review, and to print out on behalf of the client at any point in time down the road that you wish. This is a very beneficial tool and item and feature of LifeCalcs, and you can put your clients in here either by name, or you can put them in here by number and keep a log off sheet or off site if you have any concerns about disclosure of information. This is an excellent excellent place to put this information and recall it. It's always stored in there for you in the future. Thank you. Welcome to LifeCalcs. Come use these tools that we've made available to you, and if you have any questions, please contact us. Thank you very much.